Thank you for allowing me this opportunity to speak.
Yes, sir.
On October 18, 2017, I participated in a forum sponsored by the Hamilton Chamber of Commerce for school board candidates. Mr. Isgro, Mr. Weigel were in attendance, and Mr. Sprague participated by speakerphone. All three of the elected candidates talked about how they believed in transparency and that the business of the school board should be conducted in the full light of public view. The decision by this board to withhold the findings of the independent investigation of Tony Orr are in direct conflict with those statements. Invoking attorney-client privilege is not performing your duties in the light of public view. On top of that, we discover Mr. Isgro's statements of February 5th were not factual when discrimination of special education students was an allegation, and he had said no allegations involved students. One has to assume the findings of the investigation led the board to conclude Mr. Orr had to go. And now we have current Hamilton employees who endured Mr. Orr's unprofessional and unethical conduct being victimized again by the board for choosing not to release the report, and in reality, supporting Mr. Orr. Mr. Orr has been free to paint his own narrative in the newspaper and on social media as being a victim for being a change agent and for not being a member of the Good Old Boy Network in Hamilton. Your decision to name a new superintendent with no search and no input from students, staff, parents, or the community reinforces that Good Old Boy Network belief. The same night as the forum, an email containing my wife's personnel file went out to most staff members in the district and thousands of citizens across Hamilton. It directly impugned my professional reputation and called me a liar in an attempt to undermine my candidacy. The subsequent email to Baden principal and Baden school board members implored them to fire me if I was elected to the school board. I believe the report contains information indicating Tony Orr was behind these emails and may have had help from some district staff. In addition, I believe Mr. Orr boasted to some board members at the time who did nothing to address his obvious unethical behavior in violation of school policy. Now you are using the ruse of attorney-client privilege to keep the report secret. We have elected you to represent us. You've used public tax money to pay for the investigation. We are the clients. We have a right to know the results of the report, how much money was spent on the investigation, and the attorney fees involved. Finally, the separation agreement with Mr. Orr allows him to complete what amounts to a 6-month paid vacation and then receive a $130,000 payment with no admission of wrongdoing. I only know this from the media as my April 18th request for the public record of the agreement has not been sent to me yet by Mr. Hancock. The allegations presented in the paper are very troubling. If even some of them prove to be true, Mr. Orr should have been fired with no severance. However, it seems some close friends on the board have led the board to provide a generous settlement without throwing our victims under the bus. Now Mr. Orr is free to seek other employment and education. What does this board plan to say to future victims of Mr. Orr's unethical and unprofessional behavior? As a victim of Mr. Orr's unethical and unprofessional behavior myself and a taxpayer, I believe, along with our entire community, we are entitled to the findings in the report and also to the specific dollar amounts paid by the citizens for the investigation and the attorney fees. Thank you.
Thank you.